Okay, how's that? I'll see if I can do better tonight. Okay, roll call. Looks like we're missing, we're missing Jean Fuqua. Now, she may have sent me an email. She may have sent me an email telling me she wasn't going to be here, but I don't know. So I haven't checked, wasn't able to get to my email today. Okay, I'm sure you've all looked over the agenda. Does anybody have any questions or want to make a motion or whatever to accept the agenda? Okay, Betty made a motion. Okay, Jean seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay. And the minutes from last month's meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look those over? I know Betty mailed them out earlier, a while ago. Yeah. Okay, motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay, this is the time for public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the council will be asked during this section of the agenda if they have an issue to bring to the attention of the council, which is not an item on the agenda. And if you look down action items, we have 3 action items. Okay. Well, by raising of the hands, the chairman will ask any individual to address the council at that time. Please honor the 3-minute time limit when addressing the council and complete thoughts quickly. If noticed on the posted agenda, is not allowed. These concerns may be addressed at future meetings as soon as practical under non-action items. For non-action items and action items, the public will be given an opportunity to speak during the discussion of each item. If speakers wish to pass material to the council, please hand it to the recording secretary, be Betty down there, for distribution. Legal, political, legislative claims against the county, campaign, court issues, and family law issues are not appropriate discussion for the MAC consideration. At this time, does anyone wish to address from the public wish to address the council? Yes, you may. This is a good time for that.
Thank you. Go read a book there.
Yeah. Well, you don't get 5 minutes, you get 3.
I get 3. Last time you
Like
said
she's
that.
ever going to listen to me anyway.
Yeah, and I took 13 and you were so sweet. In any event, my name is Pat Flanagan. I'm with the Morongo Basin MAC, and I have been working with Chuck and with Brian on dust quality issues. You know, you'd have a little dust problem up here. Your dust comes and visits us down in the Morongo Basin. And we don't have enough monitors to be able to adequately inform the Mojave Desert Air Quality Management District. The South Coast Air Quality Management District has a statewide grant to distribute little air quality sensors that look like this. They come out of a group called Purple Air, and they have to be connected to your Wi-Fi or something similar. Brian's going to look at what he does to see if it works, and then you can look at it on the web and see what your air quality is. And when we have these huge dust events, then it's going to show up. So I just wanted you to be aware of this. These are cheap. They're like a couple $100, and you can find out what's going on, because we can't now. Especially since, as part of my argument to South Coast, you have at least 2,450 acres of land that is under review for solar. We don't like that, because that's going to make it impossible for you and impossible for us. So just stay tuned. This was just a heads up. Any questions? Yes.
Is that, I'm assuming that data is accessible to anybody at all?
That is correct. That is correct. It's on the Purple Air website, and when this is fairly new program, and when it's all robust, it should be available on Weather Underground.
Okay, good.
Yes?
Pat, is there a due date on that grant?
No, I'm trying to get them free first. And then after that, will work, and I'm going to try Mojave Desert, AQMD, I'll try, well, just, you know, we're going to get them. That's what I have to say. Okay?
I like your attitude. Thank you, Patty. Is there any other public comments at this time? Okay, no more public comment. Yes, speaker. Tonight we have Jake Torres with Alliance Energy, and he will present an update for the solar project at the community center, senior center, and the library. So this whole block right here. He's been working with Reese. Hi, Reese. Good to see you. So you may go ahead. You have 30 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Like Roger had said, my name is Jake Torres, here on behalf of Alliance Building Solutions. I'm here to present the proposal for the scope for solar and a couple other energy efficiency measures we're going to be looking at installing at a couple of the Lucerne Valley facilities. We've been working with county staff and county supervisors for the past 8 to 10 months here, really dotting every I and crossing every T to make sure we have a project that looks good for Lucerne Valley. So we had a couple handouts passed out. If everyone kind of wants to flip along, we have printouts so you can do that. So if you flip to the very first page of the presentation, this is going to be a graphical representation showing you the different measures that are going to be included at the two different facilities. So as you can see here, we have the community center and the Pioneer Park, along with the Lucerne Valley Senior Center. Those are going to be the two facilities that are included in this scope. We're going to be looking at lighting, mechanical, building controls, and then solar as well. On top of that, there are also going to be plug load upgrades, being retrofitting of 2 brand new refrigerators at each site. So that's nice as well. If you go ahead and flip to the next page, this is going to be the mechanical section. So we're actually going to be retrofitting the large mechanical system at the Lucerne Valley Senior Center. This is going to be a 7-ton unit. I believe it's about 25 to 27 years old. It's old, it's falling apart, and it's past its useful life. We're going to be retrofitting this with your new state-of-the-art top-tier Carrier HVAC unit. This is going to have a 2-year warranty, and what's nice about this project as well is this county is going to have free range to pick what manufacturer they want to move forward with. If they want Carrier, if they want York. We're very flexible, so whatever Lucerne Valley is looking into, we could accommodate that. The following slide is going to show you the actual unit that we're looking at replacing. As you can see, it's going to be a rooftop unit at the senior center, ID number 6, as it's identified here on the slide. The next slide is going to be the lighting. Lighting is a very, very important measure when it comes to these projects. A lot of savings are driven from retrofitting all of the lights, interior and exterior, to LED. So the county will be seeing a good amount of savings from these. We're going to be retrofitting at both sites all interior and exterior lighting to state-of-the-art LED. 75,000 burn hours. You have 10-year warranties on these. In reality, they have a useful life from about 15 to 17 years. So you guys are going to be, getting ready to retire before you have to look at replacing any of these. We also are going to be including a 1% overage stock. So you won't have to worry about replacing or ordering any. If something happens and one breaks, you'll actually have stock on site for the facility maintenance guys just to come in and plug one in, and you guys will be good to go.
Can I throw in a question real quick?
Yes.
What are you doing about the fluorescence thing?
So they're going to be all retrofitted to LED, and then our crews will actually dispose of them in an environmentally friendly way. We have different areas where we take waste and old light bulbs and stuff like that. Also, as well, on both sites, you're going to be receiving occupancy sensors. So these are really nice. These are actually going to be dual technology occupancy sensors. So not only are they going to be able to sense motion, they will also sense sound waves as well. These will make them a little more effective than your typical occupancy sensor, and that'll be at both facilities. The next slide is going to be the control system. So between the two different sites, there's going to be 10 different programmable thermostats that are going to be installed. These are going to be your smart programmable thermostats. So typically the maintenance and facility staff members love these because you could actually set schedules, fully manage and control them all via a web-based platform. So now instead of having to go up and actually manually changing the thermostat, you could actually log in with your smartphone, tablet, computer, and you could have a facility staff member at home watching football, log in, see that something's running when it's not supposed to, log in and actually turn it off from their chair, and won't miss the last touchdown of the football game. So it's actually a lot more with technology nowadays. It's nice to get those in and make it a little easier on staff.
I'm gonna have a million questions.
No, if any questions, just fire them off.
A user override, because let's
Yes.
say they forgot. and it's
Exactly.
25 hours.
Yeah, so there will be a user override, and when we come and look to do the install, our guys do full training. So any of the staff members here, they'll get them trained on how to use them, and they're very user friendly, so they're very easy to use as well. And as you can see, these are going to be the color touch, so they're going to be all touch screen. Kind of cool, little features like that. The next slide is going to be the two of the refrigerators. We're actually going to be replacing these with brand new Energy Star refrigerators. Believe it or not, the new ones that are going to be replaced or put in are actually very, very energy efficient. So you're actually going to save money getting a new refrigerator, which seems kind of different, but it actually is going to add to the energy savings, so that'll be nice. Looking at the next slide, so we're looking at solar photovoltaic at both sites, and this is the actual layout, and you could see in blue right here is where the panels will be getting mounted. So as you can see on the Pioneer Park, the community center here, they will be rooftop units. These are going to have 25-year warranties, state-of-the-art panels. Typically in the solar industry, they rank solar panels on a tier level, so tiers 1, 2, and 3, 3 being the highest, and these panels are tier 3 panels. So they're very efficient, and it's nice to have the good environmental pledge too, with looking at clean energy and looking at sustainability as well. The next slide is going to be
How many panels? Is this accurate?
the actual number of panels. Yes, it should be accurate. So if you see right here, there's 2 across. Yes, roughly, yes. And if anyone wanted to get the actual kilowatt size of the system, we can provide that later as well, if that's requested. The next slide is going to be here at the senior center. What's going to be pretty nice about these is we're going to be doing carport shade structures. So on the really hot summer days, when everyone's coming in and finding parking, you could have a nice little spot under the shade structure. And again, it's going to be cutting off the peak demand, so you're not going to be spending nearly as much energy, as much cost on energy that you'll be using on a daily basis. And then the last slide here is just a very quick kind of graph that shows you how this project is actually going to be paid for. So it's through a method called performance contracting, in which you retrofit energy efficiency measures such as lighting, mechanical equipment, and controls, everything that adds to your utility bill. So once you bring that consumption down, what you're going to see is a decrease in your utility bill as a whole. So we actually leverage the savings to actually fund the equipment itself. So looking at this project as a whole, it's going to be budget neutral, with the savings paying for all of the different equipment, the lighting, the mechanical, and the solar as well. So that's the high-level scope of the project. If anyone has any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Your exterior LED lightings, it looks that they're shielded. I just want to be sure that they're shielded.
Yes, we're going to be doing like-for-like replacements. So the fixture that's currently there, we're going to be replacing it with something very similar. If not, it might even be the exact one, just a newer model. So everything that will be replaced will be just like exactly how it was with regards to the fixtures and stuff. Yes.
Was that some shifting in the demand curve?
Yes.
Is there any thought to doing a battery system to take advantage of that?
Yes, so we actually did some analysis and looked into that. The only issue with batteries right now is, if you're looking into batteries, there's one of 2 ways you can do them. You could do them on the side, just a straight purchase of a battery, you hook it up, it's going to shave your peak demand. The other, which is a lot more of an expensive route, which throughout this project, we are trying to keep this cost and the savings at that same level so that it's budget neutral. The batteries didn't pencil out in that option. The other option would be looking at different incentive programs such as SGIP, different utility programs actually have systems where it's a shared savings program where you could get the battery for free, and then you just split the savings with the utility provider. The only issue with that is the peak demand for both of these facilities isn't high enough for it to be eligible for those programs itself. So we did do an analysis on them. Typically, when we look at solar, we always look at batteries as well. They're great when they're compiled together, but it didn't pencil out and it wasn't eligible through the incentive program. But we did take into consideration the TOU changes into the solar calculations and everything as well. So,
A question.
yes.
What happened to the library? I thought we were going to have the library included also.
The library, we're not able to work that out, and we have it in the equation all the time, but it ended up being, let me come up with 6.
Yeah.
Thank you. Rather than talk with my back to you, I came up here. All along, we tried to work with Lucerne Valley Library and met with Stephen, darn it, I'm not going to remember his name, but the mid-level manager at the library system, and he was in our meetings. And what happened with this project is the companies that have looked at it in the past before Alliance couldn't make it pencil out to where it was in their best interest as a company to provide the service for us, because we weren't going to save anything and they weren't going to make anything. And so what Alliance has done is come in and make that work, where we're getting these assets in terms of HVAC systems and refrigerators and light refurbishing, but also some savings too. So this is the first company that we've dealt with that's been able to do that. When the library looked at the, maybe yours too, my initial naivety on the solar system would be that there would be this very large, like the market, parking area, and we'd get solar and shaded parking or whatever. Well, my naivety is that I thought it didn't matter from the company's perspective. They just come in and build a giant shade structure. Well, there wasn't enough electrical need here for them to build a giant shade structure. So, or electrical use here. So the actual rooftop here and shade structure at the senior center is all that square footage, and panel size would make sense for the amount of savings and electrical usage that's going on here. Therefore, it didn't pan out for the library to be big enough for their need, I suppose. So, sorry that took so long to explain.
That's okay.
And just kind of to touch on what Reese had mentioned, there were a lot of other companies before our firm that came in and tried to do this, a project where it's funded through the savings and nothing's coming out of the budget. Our firm, being a little different than a lot of the other ones, we're a privately held firm. So a lot of our competitors are these big publicly traded companies that have massive overhead and profit margins. And so we're able to come in running a lot more lean in nature, and we actually own the mechanical and the lighting divisions underneath us, so we're actually able to pass on the savings to the customer and charge a much lower markup for our services, which is why we're able to finally come in and put something together that looked good for the county and that looked good in budget-wise as well. So,
Do we have a time schedule, or has the contract been signed, or where are we? When can we expect this to happen?
I want to thank Jake, first of all, for being here tonight, and thank the MAC for allowing us to present. The time schedule, the purchasing system to the county, I don't know how many people here are current anymore with, I know a lot of people here used to be associated with the county. The purchasing system is being changed over right now to what they're calling, who cares what it's called? It's called SAP now. And it's a real, nightmare. Changing the whole county system over. So we're at the mercy, in any case, of, we're trying, I'm trying to buy two vehicles right now, which has taken 8 months. And it is because of that. So I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm pushing it. This is a high priority project for us. And the other issue for this project is because this is the one that has penciled out. it's going to probably require a sole source purchase, which means that it would, in essence, be non-competitive, and government hates that. But it isn't non-competitive necessarily, because I can show them the other companies that came in and tried to do this that weren't successful and aren't even interested in providing this. So it's really not non-competitive. The answer I'll give, Roger, is, within 6 months, we had to have the contract awarded, and hopefully we'll be able to start construction. So that's what I'm hoping.
And,
The question in the back, Chuck?
yes, sir.
You might have said it, what percentage of the power consumption are you trying to cover with solar?
I don't have that number here today. What I do know, though, is when it comes to, are you talking the actual offset of the energy usage? I want to say it's roughly around 30 to 40% with the solar tied in, with the lighting, the mechanical, and all the other measures. I don't have that actual exact percentage. I can get it over to Reese, and he could relay that to you, though. Yeah, it was between 30 and 40%, roughly, which for these projects is pretty good. That's actually one of the things we're still trying to figure out right now. We have presented a couple different options as staff, and we're working with Reese and Frank Hager to try to figure that out, which is going to be the best interest for the county. So,
And that's part of the purchasing side, because I don't know which way
yeah. And I think she had her hand up first.
I have a question on the refrigerator for the senior center.
Yes, ma'am.
The senior center right now has a commercial walk-in refrigerator. Are you going to replace that, or are you going to give them something different?
Were there two?
Yeah, they have a regular refrigerator.
I believe it's the regular one. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be the commercial one. We definitely looked at it. The cost for those are just way high compared to the normal refrigerators. So when we
I
bounced
know,
out
I
the
had my
same-
hopes up.
I'm sorry for letting you down, but you're getting one brand new one for sure.
Okay, thank you very
appreciate
much.
it. And just to kind of comment on the item that he had mentioned with Reese with the sole source. So it's like he had said, you could consider it, but there's actually legislation. It was put back in the 1980s by the state attorney general that actually puts in, it's called 4217, which is actually California legislation that allows you to do negotiated work with a contractor as long as the savings from the project can actually pay for the project within the useful life of the equipment. So that's the requirement the project has to meet, which we do meet that requirement. And there's a lot of other benefits going that route. For example, the time we get these projects done light years quicker, probably in half the time than your typical bid spec or RFP project. We have a no change order policy, which is awesome for the municipal state, because I'm sure most of you know, if you've done any project with a public agency, change orders are the worst, right? And there's all this cost added. We actually have a no change order policy, so the price we show is the price we actually install at. So there's a couple different benefits associated.
When I worked for the city of Victorville as a project manager, I had a no change order policy also.
Oh, interesting.
Used to drive the contractors crazy. I tell them up front, I'm not signing a change order.
Yeah, and you know what? You shouldn't, because in the preliminary processes, if the contractor is good enough, they catch everything before they even.
I should disqualify
Start
that,
working.
unless I was making a change, or the
Exactly.
city manager said, hey, add another bedroom, or add whatever,
If you're making
then
the
there'd
rule,
be a
you can
change
break
order.
it. Yeah. Exactly. Any other questions or?
I was just unfamiliar with the terminology there. Is that 30 or 40% offset you're talking about? Is that 30 to 40% solar and the rest Edison, or is that?
No, so that's going to be the offset of your bill. So when you go and look at your bill, if your bill was $100, your bill's going to come down to $65, $70 roughly, and those savings over time is what funds the actual equipment. So yeah.
Any other questions? Sorry.
And then if we're fortunate to move forward, once we get to that point, we'll provide scheduling and let everyone know when our staff will be on site installing everything and get training and get everything taken care of for you guys. So.
Well, Reese, it sounds like a good deal.
All right.
Well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming, I appreciate it. You're not, I'm not gonna make you stay if you've got a long drive home or something. Now, Reese, that's enough. Okay, now we're on to reports. We'll start with San Bernardino County Sheriff. Don't tell me. Yeah, I know what this is going to lead to. You guys, come on.
Well, again, my name is Sergeant Siebert, formerly from the Lucerne Valley Substation. As of last week, we got swapped with Sergeant Daniel Rodriguez. He'll be here for, we're going to swap desks for about a year. They thought he needed to learn this, and they thought I needed to learn that out at the main station, so I get to drive to Adelanto every day, which is, it's a good thing. Obviously we don't have January stats because we're still in January, so pretty much the stats that I gave at the Levita meeting are the same. I'll run over the December stats for Lucerne Valley. We had 335 calls for service, 40 reports taken, and then an additional 208 officer-initiated calls, so they were out digging up stuff to do, and took another 10 reports. And for that same time period in December, the calls in the Apple Valley unincorporated area, the Lucerne Valley deputy took 137 calls for service with 17 more reports, and 42 officer-initiated calls with an additional report. I gave the totals for the year at the Levita meeting. I'll touch on that again. Apple Valley County area, we had 5,594 calls with 508 reports. The summary for Lucerne Valley, 5,924 calls with 558 reports. And that's on average about 1.5 deputies per shift is doing that. So they're busy enough. We could use the extra help if we get an extra body. I want to share a press release from the marijuana team. They put it out last Friday. They hit 4 areas in the Lucerne Valley here last week. San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department marijuana enforcement team conducted investigations resulting in the service of 4 search warrants at locations in the unincorporated communities of Lucerne Valley. The locations had illegal outdoor cannabis cultivations on the properties. The investigations revealed the cannabis and cultivations were not in compliance with California's Medical and Adult Use Cannabis Regulation and Safety Act and/or San Bernardino County's ordinance prohibiting commercial cannabis activity. Thus, over 3,700 marijuana plants and over 200 pounds of processed cannabis were seized during the service of the search warrants. Investigators don't believe that those properties were linked. The first one was 15800 block of Huff Road, 2,537 cannabis plants seized and 231 pounds of harvested cannabis. The next one was on Ackley Road in Lucerne Valley. They got another 94 plants. And all of these, the suspects are pending, so there was no one at the properties when they hit the house. Another one in the 31100 block of Villanova Road in Lucerne Valley, 564 cannabis plants seized and 12 pounds of harvested cannabis. The last one was 37800 block of Stellar Road in Lucerne Valley, 533 cannabis plants. There was a 61-year-old suspect, Robert Flood of Lucerne Valley, Patricia Ruiz, 41 of Los Angeles County, and Rafael Sanbria, age 37 of Los Angeles County. And if you want to write down a hotline number or the direct number to the marijuana team, anyone with information regarding the above investigations or other illegal marijuana cultivations are urged to contact the Sheriff's Gangs Narcotics Division at 909-387-8400. And callers wishing to remain anonymous are urged to call the We Tip hotline, 1-800-78-CRIME. That's 1-800-782-7463. And a brief, we need to go, the law became effective in January. California's newest form of cannabis regulations went into full effect on January 1st. San Bernardino County has an ordinance prohibiting commercial cannabis activity, which includes growing cannabis plants outdoors. San Bernardino County code enforcement personnel will assist in the notification to the property owners to make them aware of the violations occurring on the property. So they'll fine the property owners as well through administrative fees. But if you know of any outdoor grows or even if you're not sure of what they're doing in a house, go ahead and give us a call and let us know that so we can get it on the list. I wish they could have come and helped us out a little sooner. We probably could have got 23,000 plants instead of 3,700, but keep calling in the addresses and we'll keep asking for their help. Any questions?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
When you have a suspect or an arrest, do you actually have to save the evidence or a portion of it?
They say they maintain a sample
A sample?
and then they dispose of the rest.
Okay.
They save a sample and then they also send it in for testing at the lab so they can testify that it was marijuana in fact.
And how many people were cited in this particular case? It's 3? And the court,
Just those 3 at that last address on Stellar Road.
the courts will adjudicate that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then they'll be still looking to identify the other 3 property owners that were responsible. Yes, sir.
You had said that the one house, at least, I think you said all of them were vacant at the time.
The first 3.
Okay. Is that, is that common? Are these houses more often vacant?
They could
Or
be
they show up hit and miss?
either absentee owners and they're growing from they live elsewhere and they're just running an operation, or they saw them coming and ran out into the desert, and we'll catch up with them later.
Wow, it surprises me they would leave that and just.
It's a gamble on their part, whether we get to them in time or somebody else borrows all their plants and forgets to tell them about it. Yes, sir.
Since it's been like a little bit more relaxed in shipping.
I'm sorry?
Has there been an increase in DUIs related to marijuana? Not taking like marijuana.
I don't have those stats. There's not a legal,
Sure, yeah, I guess so.
like with alcohol, it's 0.08, and we have a presumed level of impairment. With marijuana, they don't have that regulated where it's mandated if you're at this level, you're impaired. So we still need, the field sobriety tests to show that they failed those and that they were under the influence. Yes, sir.
This may sound like an off-the-wall question, but is there any kind of laws that you think the policing agency can respond to for secondhand smoke? As far as the reason why I asked
Right.
that
You have a neighbor?
No, the reason why I asked that question is the state of California has a program called Smoke-Free California. And that is to eliminate secondhand smoke. So I find that these 2 programs may be highly juxtaposed. Secondhand smoke coming from, they say, oh, well, it travels hundreds of feet. Well,
Right. And because it all hit January 1st, we're going to be kind of in a flux, and the marijuana team will be figuring out different avenues for us to try to meet new friends.
there is, as far as, well, you would know, is there any specific laws that you would enforce for secondhand smoke?
Nothing in the penal code, which is normally our area of expertise. But as new laws come in, then new avenues to combat it have to be figured out.
If your next door neighbor is smoking skunk weed, I mean, it's offensive. It's very powerful and it's very stinky. Is there anything that can code enforcement do something about that?
Well, I mean, you can call us so we can at least go talk to the people and get them identified.
But it's not,
Maybe,
it's not illegal because no one's
well,
a drug, right?
just because that could be juveniles. So, give us a call and we'll go check it out and see how creative we can become.
Yeah, if they have one too many plants, they've had it, right?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say thank you. I occasionally use your services. Tuesday night, a neighbor called me. I was about an hour away. They said, I think I saw lights and somebody in your property. So I called dispatch. Sheriff, the deputy was out in very short order. It's in both valleys. So it's one
Awesome.
in Egypt.
Yeah.
Did it once about, and was nice enough to call me back. And we were about halfway there by this time. And,
Perfect.
it was just really.
So then you can slow down a little bit, right?
We know better than to speed out there anymore. We've had false alarms.
Right, right.
But yes, no, the first few times we were at, everyone was off.
Well, that's great.
Anyway, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you guys going to be to any agreements with the feds enforcing, I think it's one of the agencies, and they come to force mandatory decision-making on the private users. If you want to use marijuana, you can't own a gun. So if you own a gun, you can't use.
Well, the Federal Department of Justice is trying to figure that out as well. So we'll be learning. Right, we'll be learning as we go here. So
I know at the present, though, if you have a medical marijuana card, you will not get a concealed carry permit. I was told that personally by one of the detectives that interviewed me.
right.
So be aware of that.
Yes, ma'am.
I've got a friend that lives out on Sherman Road, and he said when the wind blows, boy, does he get the odor. I could tell you who it was, but I don't want to do it here in the office.
Right. Well, I mean, if they're
I can't give you an
if they're doing
address, but I
anything
can
illegal
tell you the
outside,
name.
then yeah, give us the street and we'll go from there.
Sherman,
Okay, I have a question. I'm here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I do have one question. It's unrelated to what we've kind of been talking about, but it's kind of important. In Sacramento, in its infinite wisdom, and the governor signed the California to become a sanctuary state. Now, I'm pretty sure our sheriff's not real happy about that, and I know you can't really speak for him, but is there any workaround? I mean, for example, if you guys have on the internet, if I want to find when my wife's got arrested for DUI, I can go look her up online, right? And can ICE do that? Can they go into that system and say, oh, this guy, let's check this guy's name on our list,
Oh, sure.
and then kind of track them that way? It's just not right. You guys all swore to defend the Constitution
Right.
first, and then the California Constitution second, and the laws of the state.
Correct.
But when the laws of the state conflict with the
Right, and I'm sure my bosses with much higher pay grade than I will be working on that, and I don't believe the governor can tell us that we're not allowed to communicate with the feds. I don't think that's constitutional law. Yes, sir.
Today, California Attorney General Lucerne just announced that anyone in California without ties in their race could face prosecution.
Depends on how you define help.
Yeah, I mean, that would define how they define help.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
LA and Orange County have regional task force where they link up with the feds and local agencies. And when they, auto theft, narcotics, whatever. So when they get prosecuted, they sit and decide, are we gonna prosecute federally, state, or what? This San Marino County do the regional task force with the feds?
Yes.
So, you know, just let them prosecute federal, you know? Do it that way, get it off you guys.
Well,
You guys just participate in information providing and let the feds do it.
yeah, unfortunately, we've still got, I mean, that's one team that has a federal aspect, so the majority are deputy sheriffs driving around in a white car with a star on the side, so we have to wait for our marching orders to come down.
Okay, let's go with one last question. There's somebody raised their hand in the back.
That would be Chuck.
Yeah, Lonnie, if somebody wants to open up a marijuana dispensary, is the sheriff's department involved in the licensing process?
No, that'd be through the county, and they still,
They notify you or what?
we're notified of new businesses that come in.
Okay, so you
Be
know
the,
about,
like when, if you have you want to get a liquor license or something, we're notified of that. And there can't be close to a school or close to a daycare center and that kind of thing, so.
Okay, one last question here, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
25 years ago, I was with the state forest in Kentucky and home military narcotics. And the statistics were really scary that we had in California. Almost half of all fatal accidents 30 years ago involved alcohol and marijuana. And Colorado is finding that out right now.
Yeah, they're, Colorado and Oregon and Washington will be finding out a lot of new stuff.
66% increase in Colorado.
Okay, thanks, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And we'll see you around, I guess,
Yeah,
sometime.
I mean, I drive right by here to go back home. I'll be back in a year. Yeah, and I'll be back. In fact, I didn't even take my pictures down off of the wall. I
No.
told him I'm coming back.
Welcome to Lucerne Valley, sir.
Thank you.
All righty, who's next? I can't tell. Are you county or Fed? Or state? County. Okay, your guys' uniforms are blue and I can't tell.
Good evening. My name is Bill Mahan. I'm one of the 3 battalion chiefs from County Fire assigned to oversee this area. So there's always one of us on, and when we're on duty, our responsibilities range from Rywood, Phelan, Hesperia, and of course out here in Lucerne Valley. Just wanted to share with you tonight, just off the top of my head, statistic-wise, for the month we're sitting at about 70 calls for this local fire station. Obviously, the majority is medical. And of course, our crews, that's what they do their daily training on, is mostly medical. This time of year, additional training, of course, this is when we get, chimney fires and so forth, so the crews brush up on structure fire training. Project-wise, what we've been doing is, it seems like it's taken forever, but I've seen it on paper like 6 months ago, but the bedroom addition and ADA enhancements to the fire station, it looks like we're finally going to get going on those. And part of that involves taking out the leach lines and the septic and redoing all that. So it's a big project. We've been taking a lot of time working with the county on getting done, but looks like we're finally moving forward on that. So you see some construction out back, that's what's going on there. Let's see, coming up at in a few weeks, we've got the King of the Hammers race coming up. County Fire does have an additional engine and ambulance that's going to be out at the site for the whole week, so it shouldn't impact this station hardly at all unless something major happens, obviously, but that's one of those things that's nice that the department's plan to hit on. Projects, trainings, let's see. Obviously, we had last week that double fatal off of Old Woman Springs Road. I believe that was one vehicle crossing the double yellow there. But at any rate, that's the gist of what I have. I'm here for any questions, and anything else you need, just let me know.
Are you our regular battalion chief? Or?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
There's 3 of us on shift, so there's always one of us on.
Okay.
I'm assigned out here. You're probably seeing me mostly at the meetings. but then when it comes to budgets, it's one of the three of us working on things like that, so yes.
The reason I ask is because I've asked I can't remember the woman that's a battalion chief. I can't remember.
Kelly Andrews.
Yeah, I've asked her, and I'd like to ask you also, is the CERT program out here, we really don't get much support from County Fire. It's kind of disheartening. If you might want to, the gentleman back there in the camouflage hat is Brian. He runs our program out here. You might want to just touch bases with him before you leave,
Sure.
if you have time.
Yeah.
And I just, it's a pretty important project or program if we have a decent disaster here. So
Right.
I'm just sort of like, I keep trying to peck away at all the battalion chiefs and captains, and, it's not much is happening. So.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
all right.
Anybody else have any questions for him? Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. And I don't see anybody here from CAL FIRE. Reese, you're up.
Good evening again, everybody, members of the MAC and Mark Lundquist and folks in the audience. I started working here in November of 2006, and so I've said that I wanted to finish my career here, and it looks like I'm going to get to do that. And so I'm really honored to be part of your community as a part-time member, and it means a lot to me to continue to work for Lucerne Valley. So I'm happy to be here with you. Just want to recognize Scott Fritz here. I haven't seen Scott since he retired, but and I don't really know what he's doing here. So maybe maybe he's got something to complain about, but that wouldn't be my issue because he would have told me what it was already. So, but welcome back, Scott. It's nice to see you. He came to see if the building was still standing up. So. Well, thanks to Scott for all that he did in the many years he served Lucerne Valley. Frank Haggard, who is the new District Services Coordinator here, having taken Sharon's place, will be at the next meeting next month, and I won't be. And he'll be giving you the monthly report. Frank's doing a great job in learning Sharon's job, and was quite humbled by finding out the breadth of what she was doing, and so he's working on that. I was sitting there trying to figure out how to say this. I can't think of a good way to say it. It's a little weird, but we've had increased activity at the cemetery in the last couple of months. So I guess that means more people are dying, but or maybe it hopefully just means that more people know about the services we can provide, and that it's economical and a great place to take advantage of if you so choose. So we are working on Independence Day celebration. I think we've done 8 out of 9 years, 9 out of 10, 7 out of 8, something like that. That event every year depends on donations from the community and businesses and sponsors and what have you. We're on a mission to raise $14,000 for this year's event, which is planned to be on July 3rd. July 4th is a Wednesday this year, so it'll be on Tuesday, July 3rd, the night prior to. We cannot do it without donations. The honest truth is, we're looking at $14,000 budget for the event. The fireworks cost $9,000, which is amazing, by the way. Most places are spending $60,000 and $80,000 on fireworks. So $9,000 they give us a great deal because of their connection to the community. And we get a good show too. The other $5,000 goes for the other costs that are involved, which are Sheriff's Department. Thank God for the sheriffs during those events. I literally couldn't do it without them. In fact, we need the sheriffs first, then the fireworks. So thank you to the Sheriff's Department. The Fire Department, an integral part of the success of that event every year, and they literally put out fires every year. And then we have a band that usually is every year that we have here, and so it costs another $5,000 or so to put it on. If we raise $12,000, I can usually convince my boss that that's enough, and we're able to do it. But we really, if we don't raise $12,000, we literally have to cancel and won't be able to do it. So encourage anybody that thinks that's worthwhile to help us out. And we get a lot of support from all the mines and businesses in town and the service clubs as well. So we hope that they'll continue to support that. We're working on the Russell Park shelter plan. We'll be putting in a shade structure west of the playground. If you're familiar with where that is, it would be in the southwest corner of the park. And we're going to get that done in April, just in time for the times where you need shade. And it'll have barbecues, picnic tables, a couple additional trash cans, pathway leading over to it from the playground and also the walking path. And so that'll be a nice addition to Russell Park. We're doing that with grant funding, so we're looking forward to getting that done. As you can tell, one thing about the solar project that I wanted to mention was the urgency to get this solar project and this concept in is with the budget situation by the way, Joshua Tree is going to get the exact same thing in Joshua Tree. And the budget situation of both Joshua Tree and Lucerne Valley have been affected by ad valorem tax or property valuation tax. And so the property taxes here in Lucerne Valley have gone down about 35% in the last 8 years. And so a 35% cut to your budget is sometimes lethal. And we've managed to stay afloat. And but then it does cut into our ability to create a fund balance and our ability to replace HVAC systems and things of that nature. So this is a really important project for us to address some of the HVAC systems on both this building and the senior center. And those are high dollar replacements that we might not be able to, I'd say wouldn't be able to replace in the future. So that's a big component of why that's such an important installation. A little bit of bad news, well, not bad, but frustrating news. The SCE undergrounding project, I thought, had some momentum, and I've been bugging them about it, and I haven't heard anything back from them in about 3 months, although I've been bugging them monthly. And so I'm still bugging them, hoping that we hear something back soon on the opportunity to use at least some of that funding for an undergrounding project downtown. And I'll let you guys know as soon as I know something. And then the last thing I wanted to report on is the state of California next July, there'll be a referendum on the ballot for a parks initiative, which voters will vote on to whether they want to fund and support park grants. And those are normal. They happen every once in a while. They're usually very successful and, in fact, almost always pass. So if they do pass, then Lucerne Valley will have an opportunity to apply in a competitive situation for grant funding for park amenities. And I would just like, the timing on that is vote in July. We probably get some kind of RFP in February or March of 19. We submit a grant probably by summer of 19, maybe get awarded by February of 20, and then we can build it.
Okay, well, let's keep that water park in mind.
That's what I was going to say. I'd like to initially bring out the fact that, and it can change, and I would love to hear input from people, but the project I have in mind is a water splash play area for the community, and it seems to make sense with what the state's looking for in terms of additions to parks. And there are other things that would make sense, but that seems to be the priority that we've talked about in the past. And I'll come back to you probably in August if that initiative passes and talk more seriously about that. And I have a meeting I have to attend in a MAC meeting in El Mirage at 7. So after I answer your questions, if you don't hold it against me, I'm going to run out the door. So any questions?
I'm good. No questions? Thanks, Reese.
Thank you very much.
Safe travel over there.
Thank you.
Okay, third district report from Mark. Mark, go ahead.
Third district report. As far as Lucerne's concerned, I guess you've been experiencing a green waste problem in the area. I've had some calls on it, and I've requested EHS to take a look at it. I think probably, Chuck, you've talked to Jason and Felipe. Evidently, they are developing some guidelines for enforcement. They understand now that it's an issue, so hopefully the MAC can work with EHS and also Chuck on that. I did get a call from another gentleman, seems to be very knowledgeable. He's a very older gentleman that seems to be knowledgeable. I asked him to come to the meeting and maybe chime in. I don't see him here. But anyway, hopefully that's in process, and if that doesn't continue, let me know, and I will get together with EHS and get them going on it. I understand it is a big problem. Also, I guess my question tonight is that we reached out to our representative up in Big Bear, and they're wondering whether part of their solid waste system is part of the problem. Are they taking waste down here? Do we know? Okay. We don't know where they're depositing their stuff. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay. The second issue is not an issue, but Roger had a good idea of getting the MACs together, especially the ones that are in the desert areas, possibly El Mirage, the Morongo Basin MAC, and Lucerne MAC, and discussing common issues in each one of those areas as far as solar, it could be green waste or whatever we have in common, and hopefully include the supervisors. And so far, we have been kind of looking through the other MACs, and it looks like a match would be the Morongo Basin and Lucerne. We don't know much about the other MACs. They don't post on the web. They don't post to their supervisors, and so we're digging up that information now to find out whether they would be a good match for our discussion. So the big problem is corralling the supervisors for such a meeting. It's kind of like herding cats. So we'll do our best to get that done, and it's in process, Roger. Thank you for bringing that to the attention. And as far as something that I wasn't going to report on until it came up tonight is the marijuana issue. We have been inundated with calls, at least in the Morongo Basin, from actual entities and companies wanting to build and grow operations in both Landers, Johnson Valley, and Lucerne. And what we do is we send them the ordinance, which states very plainly that the marijuana industry is not wanted. It's against the ordinance in all different areas within the unincorporated area of San Bernardino. They still request meetings with the supervisor, but so far they're not interested in talking those operations. They don't understand. They are asking for waivers from each individual supervisor depending on their district. In other words, they would like a waiver from our 3rd district supervisor for just his area. They don't understand the political process that it has to be voted in by 5 supervisors, any ordinance. And I think that's about it, unless anybody's got anything for me and they'd like me to work on it. And besides that, I get busy reading Lucerne Valley Economic Development Association, Lucerne Valley Johnson Valley Municipal Advisory Council Land Use Committee. I think you guys have come up with some great documents, and kudos to Gene, Brian, Richard, and Roger, and Chuck Bell for putting this together. Has this been submitted yet? You know, Roger?
No, we're going to vote on it tonight.
Okay, I did see a letter of, sponsoring the action, so you're going to vote on that later tonight. Great. I think it's a good document, and hopefully it goes a long ways towards influence the actual community plan. And that's it.
You may plagiarize that all you want from Morongo, if you'd like to. Right, Chuck?
We sent it out
Yeah.
to our comrades over there,
Yeah.
Mark, thank you very much for making the contact on the green waste, the soil amendment ordinance. I did get back from Environmental Health Services what we sent them, but so far we're having no comments, so I may want to use you again if I can.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And there was a contractor in Big Bear that was bringing down his construction waste, mostly concrete waste. He got code enforcement on him, and now I guess he's grinding it up. That may be what you were referring to, I'm not sure.
Well, that could be, but they have a waste treatment plant up there in Big Bear. We didn't know what they were doing in their waste disposal. She's checking that out, our other rep in Big Bear. It would be a natural to bring it down here, and we thought maybe this is happening, so we wanted to make... Yes, mulch.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
part of the ordinance, if we can get one going.
Yeah, so she's checking it out, and if it is part of the problem, we can do something in that area to eliminate that, so we're looking into it. Good. If you don't get any action from EHS in a month or so, you know, they're buried right now. Let me know, and I'll put a bug in there again. Okay.
Karen from planning did respond back to our comments on
Karen Watkins did? Good. Yeah. You do, you're very good about including me in those emails, and I've seen your conversations between yourself and Karen. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Roger.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next on the list is the Land Use Committee, and the Land Use Committee has met a couple of times and about 10,000 emails back and forth amongst us over this community plan, and we finally... Lower it? Is that okay? All right, sorry. We finally got a hold of Karen with the four of us in the meeting, and I don't know Karen's last name, I don't remember it, but she's like, yeah, she's in the planning department. And we told her how we were scratching our head and trying to figure this out, so she gave us some good advice on how to present the changes we want to make. So that's this big fat document right here, and it's sitting over there. There's a few extra copies if anyone wants one. This community plan is very important that we get our input into it, but the way they originally set it up, it was not going to work. It just was not going to work. They wanted input from the school district, the senior center, the Chamber of Commerce, and all these folks aren't going to do that. So it was just nuts. Anyway, so we finally got it together, and we're going to be voting on it here in a little bit. But it's actually, I want to say, even though the Land Use Committee, that's what we call ourselves when we met, and thank you for the market for letting us meet upstairs. That was really good. If you pass that on to Linda when she's here. If she even knew, I don't know. She knew. No. Anyway, this is really a joint project between Levita and the MAC Land Use Committee. So since a couple of the members are members of Levita, I feel it's important that Levita gets acknowledged for their hard work in this also, not just the MAC. It was more of a community project. So does anybody have any questions? Anybody looked at this? Have any questions or anything? Okay. Well, basically what this is just like notes to add to our existing community plan, because back when it was made in 2007, 7, yeah, and adopted in 8, the town really did a lot of work putting it together, and it was really a good document. So this pretty much just kind of tightens it up a little bit here and there, and we added a section, of course, on industrial scale solar, which, of course, as far as I know, there's only 1 or 2 people in town that are for it. So, so anyway, that's enough of that for the land use. That's what we've been working on. And we don't have anyone here. Gene's not here for the cemetery committee. We did get a little correspondence here. I don't know if any of you other board members are interested, but it really has nothing to do with us. I keep getting these classes for the Special District Management Authority. And so I don't know if you guys are interested in looking at their classes. Yeah, it's like we don't care about workman's comp. That's not what we do. Or property liability or health benefit coverages. That's not us. So anyway, I have it. Okay, moving on to information and action items. That was good to hear that Reese had mentioned a grant program that's probably going to happen, and he's right. To be honest with you, I've never voted for grants for parks since I've been voting since 1968. I've never voted for one of them. But if it passes, I'm not going to turn it down. It probably will pass. So it's for the children, right? So they always pass. Does anybody have any comments or questions about the water park we've been talking about? Basically, if you go to Mojave Narrows Park and you drive back in there, you'll see in the grassy area, there's a concrete slab, and it's got all these fountains and these buckets that fill up and tip over with water for the kids playing this. And it's pretty good. I saw Well, I took my grandkids there once, and there was other kids there, and those kids had more fun than I ever saw a kid having in a swimming pool. They were just having a blast, you know. And standing under this bucket as it's slowly full of water, when it gets full, it dumps on them, you know. They just loved it. And I think it was about 100 degrees that day, too, so it really was nice. And we still have the community plan on here, but I think I could probably go ahead and take that off for next time. Does anybody have any comments about the community plan, since this is their, yes, sir?
Yeah, I appreciated what you guys did in this long old document.
You're going to have to stand up, so you're going to be free.
Okay.
But you got to look at us, too.
Anyway, I appreciated the work you guys put in on this. It's a lot. I have one question. I remember it coming up 10 years ago. We got this alternate route to 18 they needed, figured for Foothill. And we were okay, but whenever I thought of that over the years, I thought, boy, there are a lot of houses on Foothill and Laramie. And if that ever really happens, it'd be kind of traumatic for those people. But
At the time we did that, there weren't that many houses over there.
yeah, there sure are now.
I know.
So just hard for me to picture that because
Well, in all defense, when you buy a house on a section line, there's like already an automatic 60-foot wide easement. So you have to know that when you buy a piece of property on a section line. Thank you, Bill. Go ahead. I'm sorry?
I worked with Ronald Reagan in Sacramento on these routes, and we killed the one in Lucerne to kill the town, besides the houses now that are there. That's been on the drawing board right there.
Oh, okay. Probably be another 40 before it ever happens.
Is it true that we have to finish our comment on the community plan by the 30th of this month?
Planning would prefer it, yeah, because they're gonna start putting everything together in February.
I thought we were going to get some time off from comments.
I think if you get a chance to read through this, if you haven't already, it's pretty much comprehensive for Lucerne Valley.
What makes them pay attention?
You know what? I think that some of the people down there in planning, I think they actually get along really well, believe it or not, with Chuck Bell. They do. I don't understand why, but they do. Probably because he used to run that place down there.
Roger, the deadline, they will still take comments after the deadline.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Especially from the MAC. We can go all the way up until the supervisors walking in the door to vote.
Absolutely.
Okay, so should we move on to action items? Anybody have anything else? Okay, our first action item was back in 2011 when Richard Selby was the chairman of the MAC, and he was also on the cemetery committee. Richard's background is architectural and properties and all that, so he identified a whole list of problems with the cemetery. There's never been a survey done. I don't want to go through all of them, but there might be an extra copy of his work. Anyway, so the MAC voted in 2011 to address those issues. So we're going to vote on it again tonight, and I'm hoping, since this is only January, I asked the supervisor if maybe he could get it onto the, because they'll be starting pretty soon, probably working on next year's budget, right? Mark? Yeah, so we can get some money in next year's budget to work on that cemetery. Keeping my fingers crossed, I don't know. Reed's talking about the property values going down 35%. I've sort of been looking at house prices in Lucerne Valley for the last 6 months. I know someone real close to our family that's buying a house, and house prices are actually up here in Lucerne Valley. They're not up compared to Apple Valley or Beverly Hills or or San Francisco, but for Lucerne Valley, they are up, and actually they're selling pretty fast. So probably because they are cheaper than anywhere else in the state. So with that, so we're asking for the county to undertake the needed items for the cemetery that we requested in 2011. Do we have a motion on that?
Yes, I make a motion, we present that second request, and I second it.
Okay, a motion been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Well, we've got, there are several different plots instead of all one, and we need to get those all put into one.
Parcel. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Roger, are you going to, how are you going to submit these requests and the,
I'll mass email it. You'll get a copy, Molly will get a copy.
okay, make sure Molly Wiltshire's in that chain.
Yeah, believe me, she always gets a copy. Well, I know her on a first name basis.
She
so
appreciates that, yeah.
Huh?
She appreciates that. yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Yes, ma'am.
I belong to an organization which show maintenance. However, there are, 2 months ago, someone made a remark about people with urns, ashes filled with urns, sitting together on a yawn because there's no place here to put them. That might be something.
That's another thing we want to request.
Yeah, I think there is it's part of the request. Yeah. A good point, good point. Okay, so a motion been made, second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion carries. Okay, this is the next motion or action item. It's a lot of work that Levita did. I don't know if that got printed out or not, but they did, Chuck Bell and over there in Levita, a lot of work with the with comments counting regarding the county-wide EIR scoping plan. And so I'd like us to endorse that, to say that we endorse the document that Levita has put together. So, Chuck, good work on that, by the way. Good work. Do we have any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, looking for a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion that we follow through with
Joanne's, Jean made the motion and seconded by Joanne. Okay. All in favor? Those opposed? Okay, those abstained. Motion carries. Okay, then the final one is vote to approve the Land Use Committee and Levita's proposed changes for the 2018 Lucerne Valley Community Plan. Like we were, excuse me, we've discussed it several times tonight. It's pretty comprehensive, the changes that that we're trying to do here, and if they all get included, it'll help our town a lot. So, any discussion on it? Yeah, vote to approve the Land Use Committee's and Levita's proposed changes for the 2018 Lucerne Valley Community Plan. Any other discussion on it?
It's good.
What's that?
It's good.
Oh, okay. Okay, looking for a motion then to accept it. Looking for a motion? Oh, Betty made the motion. Looking for somebody to second it? All right, motion's been seconded. Say again? Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, everybody, for that. Council members' requests and reports. I have one thing. We still have a vacancy on the MAC board here. So if you live in Lucerne Valley or Johnson Valley and are interested in serving on the MAC, either myself or Mark at the end of the table can help get you pointed in the right direction on that. So, or if you know anybody that might be interested. Preferably, they're always looking for someone that is somewhat active in the community, involved in programs, organizations, or whatnot. So keep it in mind. We sure would like to have that seventh member here. Any other reports from board members? Okay. Our next meeting, February 15th, 2018, right here at 5 o'clock. If there's nothing else then, anybody else have anything? Okay, we are adjourned at 6:15.